Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of Office Hours. April, no worries. Feel free to join or stick them in the chat, whatever works best. How do I make text scale so it fits within certain width? And two, request versus collection fetch. Okay, cool. Would you mind joining? I think the making text scale so it fits would be a better one to go through if you share your screen so I can see the context of what you're trying to do with it. And then also for the request versus collection fetch that you. April, can you hear me?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, all good.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out if there is an easy way for me to make it so the text scales up or down to fit within a particular width.
Would you be able to show me, in your app? Is there a certain place you're trying to do it?
Yes. Give me 1 second.
Yes.
I'm trying to make sure that this, like if the number is longer, it always just fits within the confines of the box.
Yeah, no, I've never done this before, but I think you might be able to. Huh.
Oh, good. It's not just me then, because I was like, huh. And
Yeah.
I just started looking into it right before this meeting, and I started looking online, and some people were talking about there is apparently a new CSS property that was introduced a couple of years ago, but I haven't finished.
Could you do you know how to resize the screen to see how the width adapts? It's like if you press the desktop icon, you can then drag it. You got the blue thing and you can drag it. I just want to. Okay, so because when you were dragging it there, but it still was in desktop view, it didn't seem like the width of the trophy actually changes at all.
No, the trophy doesn't change. I want to make sure that if the number is too long,
Okay, sorry, right, okay.
it kind of fits in. So, for example, if this number here,
There's a hacky way you could do this. So,
oh, what is it?
so
Because if this says like this, for example, yeah.
If you scroll down to where you have, sorry, actually no, don't scroll down. Scroll to the top. Sorry, Prilla. For the size, you have it on 1 EM right now. What you could do is you could bind this, and you could basically figure out how many characters it reaches before it needs to becomes smaller. So I guess right now it's what, 1, 2, 3, 6 characters right now with the percentage sign.
I see what you mean.
So you could figure out where in the item data, where is that 18562 coming from? Because I can't see it.
It's coming in here.
Okay, yeah. So you could, and then you could say dot length, I think. So if you type dot length after this, no, because it's a number. So actually, you could switch to the formulas tab in this binding window, yeah, and then you could go to text. Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then once you put that inside of there, then after this you could write dot length, and then this would give you how many characters it is, and you could kind of do it a hacky way like this.
Okay.
There might be a CSS unit that handles it, but I'm not sure. But this would be the way to manually set up a condition to handle it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do some more research. I thought that you might know out of. Okay. Yeah. Apparently there is something. So I will probably first check that out.
Okay. Cool. And then you mentioned the collections versus
yes
request. Yeah.
That's, I guess, more of a philosophical question than anything else. So I was doing something. So on one of these items here, I have like a pop-up that opens and it loads additional data. So I'll actually show you. So right now, if I go and look at the details for this distribution shortfalls, it goes and it loads the additional data. So I did this through just doing a request instead of doing a collection and displaying the collection. And then I was wondering, well, what is the benefit of using a collection versus doing it as a request?
So that one of the nice things about the collections is they have built-in stuff that you can do with them. So like if you were to open the data tab on the left, I guess, do you have any collections already set up? Yeah, you've got a bunch. So
most of my stuff is actually in collections, but then I was doing this little thing and then I was like, well, for just doing it in a pop-up, should I do a whole collection or should I do it as a request? And that's when I started thinking, it's like, well, when is it best?
Yeah. So it's different for depending on the plugin. Like for Superbase, there's a bunch of different stuff you can do with the collections. Since you're just using Xano, I suppose really the main difference is that in the collection, I mean, the literal thing you cannot do if you don't use a collection, at least not in an easy way, is to have that filters and sorts and pagination. So if you open up one of the collections on the left, you have the very bottom. I mean, you also have the advanced stuff. Actually, yeah, that's a very good point. So you have the sort, filter, and pagination, but you also have that advanced. So you have fetch this collection automatically and preserve it on navigation. You cannot, if you were to do it with a request, to use that data in the interface, you have to take the data that was returned from the API and manually save that into a front-end variable and then use that in your bindings. And to fetch this, I don't think that if to fetch this collection automatically, if you weren't to use a collection, there's no way you could configure that yourself. In all your workflows, you'd have to make sure that you're obviously fetching the collection. Preserve on navigation, you can replicate this because if you have to save what you get from the API into a variable, then you can just have the variable settings set to preserve on navigation also.
Yeah, actually, I realized I needed one on navigation because I guess it's like the two parts. So yes, I understand because initially, in order for me to fetch this data, I need to feed it an ID. And that's why I just did it as a request instead of a collection because I realized that I would have to go and create a variable that basically holds the ID that needs to be requested in order to fetch the collection because the collection cannot receive an attribute.
Yeah, right? That's true. You would, yeah, in that case. To play
Okay.
devil's advocate, though, yes, you would need to create a variable. If you wanted to do it the collection way, you would have to create a variable to store the ID for whatever you want to send to the collection. However, if you do it with a request, then you need to create a variable to then store the request's data so you can use it. So it's kind of like a catch-22. But again, you're right. It's kind of a philosophical one where I personally sometimes don't use collections, and I opt to just make a request and then store that myself in a front end variable, just because I'm one of those kind of control freaks who likes the manual control. But you're right. It just is kind of whatever you prefer doing. There isn't really a right or wrong way to do it.
Well, and I mean, frankly, with the way the new pop-ups work, which by the way are so much better than the old way,
Nice.
Since there are components now, I don't have to actually provide that data outside. So now when I fetch it, I put it in a local variable. So that variable is
Okay, yeah.
component. So it's a little bit, I guess, like organizationally, it's nice.
In that case, though,
And I do the fetch data on created.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Honestly, the way you've done it makes a ton of sense. You could do it with fetch collection, but I suppose you would then have to have that variable for whatever ID you want to fetch. So I think the way you've done it is good, to be honest with you, for the pop-ups anyway, because you can have those internal variables.
My only problem with the new pop-ups is I have to go and change all of my old pop-ups to the new pop-ups.
Yeah, that's the joys of improving stuff, I guess, is that you then have to redo the other stuff. But
yeah. And one very quick question. So the way the new icons are done, I'm guessing not the whole set of icons get deployed to the user, only the ones that are being used within the project?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, because I saw that the Lucid one or whatever has like 1,700 or whatever. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. If I figure out more questions, I'll ask. Well,
no worries.
To the next person.
Cool. Right. Cheers, Philip. Hey, Sean. Greetings. How do I get as smart as you? Spend 3 years of your life in the WeWeb editor, pretty much 7 days of the week. There's no shortcut, I guess. And Eben is joined.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes. How's it going?
Very good. I have 3 questions. So let me first share my screen. And then, okay, so I think this is it, but if for some reason you can't see my screen, let me know.
No, I can see it. All good.
Okay. Yeah, so my first question is how to download bulk file, like a zipped file. So in Xano, I'm able to pretty much get the zip file, like get it into a zip file folder, right? So just to show you how I did it, I basically have a function here where I kind of wrote everything, but when I test it out, right, you will see that it pretty much generated the bulk file, and then let me just show you. And then, when I do,
I can't see. I can only see the Xano tab still.
Oh, I thought I shared. Okay, let me share again. Okay. Oh, okay. There's entire screen.
Cool.
All right. So when I did it, it gave me this zip file, and then when I extracted it, I pretty much got these, right? The problem I have is when I come into WeWeb, right? For some reason, I can't download the bulk file. So this is calling that API that I shared earlier. When I hit, so just maybe on the single file, I couldn't figure out how to download a single file, but that is my third question.
Okay.
So basically, what I did is I allow the file to be viewed, right, so that the user can eventually save manually, because I couldn't figure out how to just straight up download. So I go the view, like the navigate route. But for the bulk downloads, this one I can't get around it. I have to do a bulk zip download. When I hit let me see, not sure what happened there. Let me just choose. Oh, I see. Let me just refresh the window. I think there was
no worries.
Okay. So let me just do this. Okay. So if I want to download all of them as bulk, it's the same API, but why is it? Sorry, let me just check something real quick. Oh, I think I made a change to the API and I haven't gotten out. This can be solved very quickly. Just a moment.
No problem.
I added okay. Let me just but basically what happens is that the response will return a 200, all right. It will, but then instead of automatically starting the download, it will just basically show the response. But even the response, I have to see it in the backend. So I'm gonna try download it, right? So you see that it's returned a 200. It says download successful, but then nothing. There was no file download or anything. When you go in here, you will see that. Let me just do this so that I can see the response. You will see that it just returned the binary text of the file, which is equivalent to the like the file dot data here. It's actually not triggering the download. So I tried another approach where I was like, okay, let me just look online to see if I could find I could use like ChatGPT to write some code, but it still wasn't working. So I wanted to figure out, like, is there a better way to do that?
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Could you add an action to the workflow? I'm trying to remember what file actions we have.
The native ones are upload file and download file from URL and encode file as base 64.
Yeah. Could you show me the response you get again? That like PK.
Yeah, so this is the file data, and it's basically, I mean, with Xano, let me just go into the actual function. So these two headers are what allows Xano to automatically download them. But if you don't include these two headers, it will show you the file binary, like the binary file data. Like this is what, like
Yeah.
the raw file text, right, is what the WeWeb is displaying. But in Xano, once you add these headers, it automatically makes them like a download. So I was trying to
Yeah.
figure out like um, how
Give
to
me
do an
one sec. I'm
no.
gonna see if I can figure something out. Sorry, give me just 1 second. I'm just creating a piece of JavaScript that I think might work, but let me just test it to make sure. Okay, I'm going to, in the private chat of the call, I'm going to add this custom JS. And we'll see if this works. If it doesn't work, then I'd love for you to put this on the forum afterwards, and I can check in with the team to see if they have a better solution. But we can try this, and if this doesn't work, then
Okay. So let me see. All right. So
yeah, if you add a custom JS action after this, and then you paste in that code here. And then if you just expand this, I didn't, sorry, it's not all there. It's not all there. Why is it not all there? I think it might, maybe there's a character limit on this private chat. Sorry, give me 1 second. Yeah, there's a character limit. I'll paste the rest of it. Give me 1 sec. Okay, I've just I've put in the chat the rest of it after that point where it cut off.
Okay, so this one follows right after the.
Exactly, yeah.
So where should I continue right after the open bracket?
Actually, they just missed off a point. So in this bracket, if you put data.length and then close the bracket and then a colon. Yep, and then enter, and then on the new line paste. And then if you expand this in the top right, just above this, up a little bit. That one, yeah, just so we can see it a bit better.
Oh,
and if you,
I've always been trying to figure out how to expand this.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the only thing you'll need to change is the const. So the const's my raw binary string at the second last thing at the bottom.
Here.
Just up a little bit, sorry. The one above this, this one. It replaced the XXX with the result from Xano. So that binary data you get back.
Oh,
so
okay.
you can just, yeah.
And then.
Yes. And then if you back out of this custom.js and then just press test on the action on the custom.js, we can see if this does the job. Did that work? I think so. It's a PDF some. No, okay, that's weird. Why is it done as a PDF?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a.
It's because it's one sec.
It's supposed to be a zip.
Yeah, so at the bottom of the JS, if you expand it out again, you can just change it to be report card.zip and then application/zip. Yeah, so change that to zip, and then the part before it, you can change the end bit to zip, yeah. And let's see. Okay. I'll tell you what, just because of how long the experimentation would take for this, would you mind putting this on, do you know how to get to the forum?
No.
No worries, I'll send you a link. If you could put it on there, because then I can experiment a bit on my own time and I can ask the support team if they've encountered this before also.
Okay.
Give me 1 sec, I'll grab you the link. Cool, I've put the link in the YouTube chat. Feel free to just make a post on there. It doesn't have to be too in depth because we went through it here. And then, yeah, I will make sure that's followed up on.
Okay, how do I tag you?
You can just put at. I'll see it, don't worry. If you post it within the next few days, I'll see it. I'll keep an eye on it. It's okay.
All right. This part was what PDF. I'll try this with a single file to see if it works for the single file.
Yeah, for the single file, were you returning the binary data as well?
For the single file, I return a URL.
That should be way easier.
Okay.
We shouldn't need JS for that. That should be way easier.
Okay, why is this thing showing as, because I don't have a string here. Okay. All right, then I'll just disable this for now, and then where did you paste the?
In the YouTube chat, so not in our private chat, but in the public YouTube stream chat.
Okay, so I'll. Is that the community.weweb/latest?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. Second question, because I'm trying to get a contract with someone.
Sorry, one other thing I realized, because I saw it in your Xano request, you're sending the token as the authorization header, right? In your WeWeb Xano request. So if you click on this, you're sending the header authorization and then the auth token. Yeah, you don't, unless you've set up some kind of custom thing, just as a heads up, you don't actually need to do this. Whenever you use the native request action that comes with the Xano plugin, we automatically send this as a header. So you don't have to do it every time. If you were manually using like the API request action and calling a Xano endpoint, then you'd manually have to configure this in the header. But since you're using the native action that comes with the Xano plugin, this automatically happens. So you don't have to do this every time, just as a heads up.
I got it. So I'm not using, to sign in, I'm not using the username and password, the email and password approach.
Okay.
Because for this one, the way you sign in is with an OTP. So I had to do everything custom.
I get you. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. The second thing is this one. I'm trying to get a contract with someone, but they want to like a reading app.
Okay.
And so I was trying to build one and like build an ability to have like an e-reader. Then the challenge I have is that I was using some packages and I used AI as well to help a bit. But now you'll see that, do you see these event sessions?
Yeah.
These events, yeah. So anytime the user takes an action, like for example, right now it's showing page 10, right? I have to do this. It's gonna it's gonna fire an event in if you can see the console.
Yep.
Yeah. If I highlight text, for example, it's gonna fire. See how it's select. Yeah. So now I'm trying to figure out how to capture this event and store it in a global variable.
You did this with, I know it's an iframe, right? So how?
Yeah, it's with an iframe, and so I sort of did some like a lot of querying on GPT and all to get like an HTML. So basically, the way this is working is we get we have an HTML page that is being surfaced on like GitHub pages, which enables the rendering of the reader, as well as the like creating of the events that are firing whenever whenever the user is taking an action. Because when they are using an e-reader, you want to know where are they in the page, in the book, etc., etc. So all of that has worked so far, but my challenge is I can't figure out how to capture the events that are being returned.
Yeah. So you have the source code of what's behind this iframe then, right?
Yes.
I think like technically, I think you could track these events. You could have some kind of on-page load workflow where you set up event listeners using custom JavaScript, and those event listeners watch for these events, and they then, in the JavaScript, you tell them to fire a workflow, like a global workflow when an event happens, and you can record it that way. But it will be very complicated. If you have the source code of this, I honestly think the easiest thing to do would be to use AI. I think you could just give the source code that's behind this to AI, ask it to create a custom coded component using that source code. And because it will be a WeWeb custom coded component, you could ask it to expose all these events that you're seeing in the console as native workflow triggers for the component.
I see. So
easier than yeah.
One challenge was that the where is it? I think there was, it had given me, I guess I can't find it now. It had given me some code to use, but then the problem I had was that, let me see if I can find it, just a moment.
No worries.
Right, it had given me, for example, some code here, right, to say that capture the event and then update the global variable you've created.
Yep.
I've pasted everything here, and this ID I'm assuming it was talking about, you know how when you're in JavaScript and
Yeah.
the custom and you select an variable and there's an ID that shows up. So I did everything, but it still wasn't working. So I wasn't sure like if even this thing is, because sometimes it gets things wrong. If this is
Yeah.
how
Off
to
the top, you can do this, but off the top of my head, I don't know if that is the correct syntax. But the kind of the base principle of what it's trying to do here, where it sets up a listener, and then when it detects an event for whatever it set up the listener on, it changes the WeWeb variable using the update variable syntax. That's correct. It's just you'll have to set this up for so many different events, and it will be such a back and forth that.
Yeah. I my main thing was I wanted to go to, because it seems all the events are coming as like they have one name, like one overall variable name, in terms of the objects. The individual contents might be different, but the overall object is going to be the same. And so what I was trying to do, like you will see here when I set up this multiple tree thing, is that all of them should show up as this. And then based on the specific event type, like if it is session end, then I know what variables I'm going to pull from that. If it like I know what variables to pull from that. But the problem is being able to capture this past event that is coming from that is being fired, that is firing.
But then also, how would this workflow that you're showing me get fired? You'd want to fire it from that JavaScript?
So it is firing. It is like the HTML JavaScript that is rendering this page is tracking the activities on the page, and then it is firing those events, so that if I have this, for example, right, you see that select event has been fired, and it is returning that, okay, this is the text that I highlighted, etc., etc. So, and it's page number, timestamp, everything. So the general principle is working. Is just my biggest blocker now is capturing those events in Xano. Sorry,
yeah. Give me 1 second. I can give you another. This is a very complicated one. I'll give you a piece of custom JS that you can hopefully point you in the right direction, because you can. I know for a fact you'll be able to do this with custom JS, but it requires so much testing and iteration with it to get it working that you might be, because you have the source code, it might just be easier in the long run and quicker to create a custom coded component using that source code. Because I imagine AI could do it pretty well, because you can literally give it the code and ask it.
Wait, so when you say the custom code, could you expound on that a bit? I've seen that thing being used in WeWeb, but I haven't really looked into how exactly the custom code works.
Yeah, I will. I did a video a while back. I will put a link to it in the chat. So have you experimented with like Cursor or Claude Code at all?
Claude Code, not really.
No worries.
It just builds the code for me in the chat.
Yeah. So then maybe the easiest one would be Cursor then. So I'll put a link in the YouTube stream chat again. Basically, custom coded components let you take exactly because like what you have here is a custom coded component. Yeah. You just haven't created it as a custom coded component in WeWeb, if that makes sense. So custom coded components in the land of WeWeb are just nice ways to turn coded things into components that you can use in the editor with all the nice quality of life no code stuff. So you can have the components expose variables, you can have them emit triggers when certain thing happens, you can have them expose workflows as well. So I don't know, for example, if this was a custom coded component, you could add like a custom WeWeb button to the top of the page yourself in the editor. And when someone clicks it, you could execute a component action on this reader. So it goes to the next page, that kind of thing. So yeah, if you're open to it, I think that'll be way easier in the long run to turn this into a custom coded component with your source code and just have it expose all the things that you need in the editor. But I don't think it's impossible to do it with the custom JS route. I just think it'd be way harder. But just in case you need it, give me 1 sec and I'll give you some JS that will hopefully point you in the right direction. So you said actually on the HTML element is where you're triggering the event, or it's in the...
Yes. Yeah, so it wrote an HTML for me. Where is it? Yeah, it wrote an HTML reader for me. And then, yeah, so this is kind of what is powering it behind the scenes.
Okie dokie. So what I think you could do is I'll give you this code in the private chat for now. I think on a... Actually, sorry, wait, ignore what I just sent you. I need to change one thing in it. Give me 1 sec. Don't use that one. I will give you an updated version in a second. I've just pasted the updated version. So I think you could use, I think you could set up a page workflow on this page, where on page load, you run that custom JS. And what that custom JS is, it basically adds an event listener for the events defined in that JS. So I'll just wait until you get it up, so it makes more sense.
Yeah. So so you said set up a page workflow.
It would be, so in the top left. So if you click the reader page in the top left, yep. And then you press the cog and then you trigger, yep. If you add a workflow here and then do custom JS. And then paste that in, yep. And then in this array, in the very first part where it says select page turn session end, here you would just add all of the possible events.
Okay, all the possible events.
And there's one last thing I need to find. Give me 1 sec. It's basically in that event listener. You want to trigger that workflow you showed me. So in that workflow, we can just pass the name of the event. So that way in that workflow, you can say like, okay, so if the event name was passed, if the event name passed was page turn, go down this flow. If it was last, yeah. So let me just find.
What will be the name of the variable this thing returns?
This wouldn't return anything.
Okay.
What would get, basically it would, the array you have at the start, it would watch for all those events. And so in this case, if you've got select as one of the possible events. So if select was fired, we haven't set it up yet, but the idea is it would watch for select. When select is fired, it would then fire that workflow you showed me and pass the event name select into that workflow. So it could go down those branches where it said, if select is this, then do whatever I need to, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. So just
you had the multi-option, you had the multi-option split.
Okay, got it. So just to make sure I understand, what this does is the event that was firing, like once we load this page, this thing will more or less be listening in the background. And then when it sees a particular event fired, then it would, let's say if the event type is select, it will then, let me just make sure I understand this. It will then, let me give this a name. Let me just call it listener. Okay, so what it would do, so then what do I link this to?
So you would have, what you could do is if you close this condition, you have, sorry, wait, I'll go back on that workflow with the multi-option split. You could add an input parameter. So in the bottom right, you see you have the parameters. In the very bottom right. Yeah. So here you can, because it's what this is a global workflow, so you can call it from anywhere. So here you can define like the specific things you want to pass, so you can always make it dynamic. So here you could set up an input parameter called event name. And so the idea is that from that JS, we'll call this workflow and pass in whatever the event name is that's been fired, or sorry, been detected by that JS.
Okay.
And so then on that multi-option split you have at the top, you can bind this to be that event name. And so then this is kind of a hacky way to set up a piece of code that we can then handle in a no-code way.
Got it. So this would what we have here would just keep firing anytime it hears something. You know, and then
anytime it hears one of the events you define in it. So that array at the start of the JS, it will only fire if it detects one of those events that you defined at the start.
Got it. Got it. Should we try it and see?
Yeah, give me 1 sec. I'm trying to find this syntax we have for firing a workflow in JavaScript.
Because this one on page load makes sense. Now I'm trying to figure out this workflow. Do I just call it down here? This workflow?
No. It will be done in the in that JS. Give me 1 sec. I'm just trying to find the syntax for it. Sorry, I couldn't find it on the forums, but I do have it noted down somewhere. Give me just 1 second. I've got it. I will send it to you now. Okay. So I will just put it in the private chat now.
Mhm.
If you could copy that code and then reopen that JS. And so if you get rid of it, keep it copied, but get rid of where you put it. We'll want to put this where we currently have last event equals event.type. So if you replace that line with that code.
Mhm.
Yes, and so there's two things we want to do. Basically, this is just a JavaScript way to execute a workflow. So here we're saying whenever you detect one of those events, fire that workflow that we created and pass an event name. So the two things we need to do to make it work for your workflow is the ID at the start. That's the ID of the workflow you want to fire. So we just need to delete that and then go back to your workflow and get its ID so we can paste it in there.
Okay.
So it was on the page. Oh no, sorry, it was global. Yeah, it was global. My bad.
This
Yeah.
this one,
Yeah,
right?
this one, yeah.
How do I get the ID?
So if you close this JS window, if you click the three dots in the top right, I think you need to actually enable the developer stuff. So if you click more in the header, I think this is where we have it. If you click more, yep, and then you go to settings. No, it's not this one. Where have we got it? Sorry. There's basically, we hide these IDs because most of the time they aren't needed. So you have to, sorry, yeah. So if you close this and then open more again, if you click development at the bottom, and then if you click show dev information in the very bottom of this panel that opened, now you have that copy ID button in the bottom right, or top right, sorry. Yeah. So if you click that and then you go back to that, yep. And then you paste it in there. Yep. And then the last thing we need to do is pass the appropriate event name value. So right now it's this, but we would want to pass the, we want to pass the event name, but.
Or like what it's actually called, not this.
So
type.
yeah, so it passes the event. I guess we can do that actually. Let's try that. And I mean, if it works, then we can see what it fires. So if you change where it says event name semicolon this, if you get rid of the this and then put event.type. And if all works, then this should work. But
so should I put a semicolon at the end, or?
You can do, I guess. It doesn't really matter. It's more like it won't break anything. It's more just for readability. But yeah, so if all works correctly, then this should hopefully work. We can see. So you'll need to refresh the page for the listener to take effect.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how we put in something to help us know that it is working.
We should know because whenever, I guess we can add some console logs. So if you open up the JavaScript and then you expand this, before you fire the workflow, you can add a line in between the thing you commented out and the execute workflow, and you can say console.log and then parentheses event or event.type or something, or even just like event was fired, just something we can something to track it here. If you put it in quotation marks though, it won't. Yeah. Okay, so I can't remember which ones we defined now. There was select, was page turn one of the events we defined at the start of that JS? I can't remember.
I don't remember actually.
Okay, so there's an error, which isn't good, which makes me think it was that listener. Yeah, so I think the listener errored out. So if you open up the page workflow, we should see an error. So this is the other workflow. So if you click on reader at the top left to open up the page, and then go to this one. Yeah. No, it worked. Okay, and then just to check, if you open this to see what event, if you open the JS, just to see what events we defined at the start, page turn, so it should have been detected. Huh. Okay. Yeah, so this is what I mean, where it's like this would be the premise though. So if you wanted to follow this through, the premise would be to just ask ChatGPT a bunch of, for this kind of thing, weirdly, I honestly find ChatGPT gives JavaScript that works in WeWeb, usually does it better than Claude. Claude kind of gives like full pages of code when all you want is like a standalone JavaScript function. So just as a heads up, I find ChatGPT does this a bit better. But you basically just want to ask AI for different scripts that would do this kind of thing, where you set up a listener for an event. When that event is detected, use that code to fire the WeWeb workflow and pass the event type into the workflow.
Got it.
The unknown right now is why that's not working for that specific listener, but that'd be the premise.
So that's one route, and then the other route you said was the custom code component.
If you're open to doing it with a custom coded component way, like I definitely recommend it. One, because it will make your life way easier in the future, because all this stuff will be available via the coded component, because it will have workflow triggers, it will have exposed variables, all that kind of stuff.
So the custom code, I'll just come in here and come and put in.
No, so I'd recommend that video I put in the chat. It's relatively long, but have a watch of it, because it will give like a bunch of context as to how you do it. Although if you open up the ad panel, I'm just trying to see if you might have some from AI in the past. So if you press add in the top left,
here
in WeWeb,
add
in the very top left. And then if the tabs on the far left now, if you press that one, coded. Oh yes, you don't have any. So yeah, this is where you would find your coded components. I was just trying to check if you had any, because AI will create them for you. And so I just wondered if in the past maybe you had AI create one without realizing, but no, you don't have any. So coded components are like their completely own standalone thing. So whenever you create one, it will appear in that panel, and then you can drag it into your project as you would with any of the other elements.
Got it. I see. All right. So I can basically watch this, and you said Claude Code can also do this.
Yeah, there's on our WeWeb YouTube channel. So on that channel, there's one for Claude Code as well. So it's whatever you'd prefer. You can do it with either.
Custom. Okay, this one.
That one.
All right, I'll look into it to see what it works. But yeah, I've been banging my head.
Yeah, no, this is like a super complex one. I mean, either way you want to do it, it's kind of complex. But in the long run, it may sound complex creating custom coded component, but in the long run, I think it will actually be less complex than trying to do it with custom JS for the rest of it.
Cool. All right. So I think what I have to do, one is the bulk downloads, send a message to the group, like to the forum. So when I'm sending it, do I just say that, hey, I'm trying to download a bulk zip file? Like, how do I do it? Just that?
Yeah, I mean, the root of your problem is you have the binary data,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to turn that into a downloadable file, pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right.
I mean, the context is you're getting it from Xano, but the root problem is you want to take that binary data and turn it into a downloadable file.
Got
And
it.
you can just say that, and I can pick it up because we went through it.
Okay. All right. And what's your name?
Matthew.
Oh, Matthew. All right. We'll do. Okay. Thank you very much.
No worries. But your last issue with the single file download, that's a super easy one. So we can do that quickly.
Okay. All right. So. Okay. So how?
Yep. So it's, I guess, here are you trying to navigate to the URL that it sent you back?
Yeah, here I was navigating so that to at least open it and the user
Yeah.
can.
If you add an action
directly.
and you search for download, you can just use the bottom one.
Yeah, so this one, well, I think I'll show you. I had tried it, but somehow it was giving me like a, let me just say test file. Yeah, it was giving me some access related stuff. So yeah, see, it failed to fetch. And then when I go into it, let me just do this. I think it's this one. Yeah, I was kind of getting this.
If you before this download file action, if you add another action and then you search for copy and then choose copy to clipboard, and then on the right for the value, bind it to the URL you get back from that workflow. Yep. And then if you just test this action, so if you test the copy to clipboard action, and now if you just open this in a new URL, I just want to test.
I should open
a new tab and then paste that URL into the tab. I just want to see what you get back.
Oh.
If you press test on the copy to clipboard action, it will give you the URL, and then you can paste that into a new tab.
Oh, so it's already copied it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, this is okay. This is because I don't know the ins and outs of this problem, but I know it's an issue that exists where you can have a file at a URL, but it's just not formatted in a certain way to allow for download. It's almost like the URL of the file is set up for viewing as opposed to download, I think. I don't know. It's a tricky one. What's this viewer, by the way? Because I don't recognize this. What's this file hosted on?
Oh, this is hosted on AWS.
Okay. Yeah, because I actually had this problem before with a Google Drive file, and I'm trying to remember what I did for it. Yeah, I don't want to tell you what I did because what I did was like a hacky workaround in Xano where I had to turn it into an attachment in Xano and then send back the URL of that attachment, which was a bit of a mess. So I think if we get the binary data problem working, so we figure out a way to turn the binary data into a downloadable file, could you in theory do the same thing with this, where in the Xano endpoint where you get the signed URL, you turn that into binary data and send that to WeWeb? If we figure out the binary data to download problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, given how critical file management is, yeah, hopefully you guys can have like a native way to do it so that we don't have to.
Is coming. So there's right now we're working on a bunch of backend stuff.
Mhm.
It should be live by the end of the month. And one of the features we have is to natively handle different storage providers in WeWeb. So like Google Cloud Storage,
Yeah,
S3 buckets, all that kind of stuff. So there
got it.
should be. I assume you're using like S3 buckets in AWS or something.
Yeah, I'm using it. Yeah, S3 bucket in this
Yeah.
AWS.
So there'll be a native way to handle that stuff by the end of the month, which is good. But for now, we need to find a way around it until we have that in place. So hopefully we can figure out the binary to download issue, and then we can do the same for this.
Got it. And last question, is there a way to set, like for example, you know how in Xano, the way I got it to actually download was I set these headers. If I didn't set these headers, it would have just returned the binary data.
Yep.
But in their documentation, when you set these headers, it will actually go ahead and download straight up. Is there a way to do something like this on binary data in Xano?
That's a good question. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't think so, because otherwise it would have done it here, right? Like if you set it to download, whenever you call this URL, call this endpoint, then I assume if it was going to work, then it already would have worked.
I was thinking of, even though I've said this in Xano, I was thinking of actually if there was a way to set that directly
in WeWeb.
Because it seems it is pulling the binary data and not recognizing the other headers that we set in there. So
yeah, that's a good question. I don't believe so. The only reason, off the top of my head, I don't believe so, just because whatever you set in Xano, those are the headers that get returned. And so if those headers are already set, then I don't think manually trying to set them would make a difference.
Got it.
But I might be wrong. That's just it off the top of my head. It might be something to investigate, but off the top of my head, I'm not too sure.
Okay. All right. Let me see, which one is this? So if it set the headers, where will I see?
In the fourth one. So in the
request.
Although this is get site. Are you setting headers for the single file one?
Yeah. So I was saying that if, for example, right, this request that is going to, not this one. This request, this file bulk. Well, I guess for this particular one, I'm doing it for a single file, but let me just do the bulk one. Yeah, for something like this. Okay, so for this one, right, that is coming as a, how do I see? Oh, I guess so it's only showing, it is somehow not showing this header, the content disposition, or is it? Yeah, I don't see the content disposition in the header. I only see the content type.
Yeah, we may, I don't know for certain, but we may block some kind of header setting for security purposes. But I don't know. It would be one for the devs. But I don't know if you could force this. I'm not sure if you set this in Xano.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's, I don't think with content disposition, you can set this when you make the request. So if it's not returned by the kind of request itself, then I don't, it's not really something you can set, if you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah. Yeah, because for some reason it's only picking up the content type applications, but it's not picking up.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I know we are over time, so
No worries. This wasn't of much help because we only saw like one problem, so apologies. But yeah, for this stuff, feel free to put it on the forum, and then if we solve this one issue, then we should also solve the other one. So
okay. All right. Thank you very much.
no worries. Again, apologies. We couldn't crack it.
No. All right. Thank you.
Cool. Take care.
All right.
Right, that is us then. I only just saw your comment, Pralat. Claude Desktop app isn't very helpful for Xano. I've not used it that much at all recently. For WeWeb, it does not know about my custom components and libraries, so it's not kind of helpful. Yeah. Interesting. Claude Desktop app. As in like it opens Xano and goes through it itself in the browser, or it's using that VS Code extension or some kind of MCP. Hey, Baz, I want to ask about... okay, I'll quickly bring in Pralat. Hey, Pralat.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So the Claude Desktop app allows you to switch into code mode, and it allows you to specify what folder you're working in. So my workflow is actually using VS Code to connect to Xano and download all the Xano scripts, and then tell Claude which folder it's in, and just ask Claude to edit the files, and then use VS Code again to push them to Xano. I found it better than what VS Code was doing on its own.
Nice, okay. Cool. Do you know what model that you were using in VS Code for it? Like what AI model?
In VS Code, well, two parts. So in VS Code, I was using the recommended from Xano, which was the ChatGPT one, but then I ran out of tokens. And because I actually have a Claude subscription, it was easier for me to just do the Claude. And in Claude, I'm using the Opus or Sonnet 4.6.
Nice. Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that. Didn't realize it was It makes sense though. So you're using, when you say VS Code, you have it open in like Cursor or something, or just VS Code?
Just VS Code as my IDE, and I'm just using it to push stuff and pull from Xano. Cool. But I didn't go full Claude code because I didn't want to use the terminal and all that other stuff. And the desktop app is really nice because you can actually talk with it in plan mode and kind of discuss design and go back and forth, and then tell it, oh, code it. It usually tries to send it to the Xano agent, and the Xano agent never works. So then Claude goes and just says, okay, let me write the file myself.
Nice. Cool. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing that. I've only used it through Cursor with like the GPT model, so it's interesting to hear. Cool. Right, just put it. And then lastly, your question I'll pass. I want to ask about the print PDF. When I applied print PDF in a workflow, it shows the whole screen. Blur PDF, how improve quality. So whenever you run print PDF, all it does is it basically prints the current screen. I've done this before where I needed a hacky way to get a PDF and I didn't want to go to the hassle of using some kind of external service. So for your first problem with hiding the sidebar and the header, the workaround is to have some kind of variable like format for PDF. So when you press print PDF, you turn the variable format for PDF to true, at which case you have some kind of conditions set up on the sidebar and the header so they hide whenever that's true, so that they are hidden for when print PDF runs. And then after print PDF runs, you set that format for PDF to false, so the header and the sidebar appear again. you'll probably need a bit of a delay between those actions. So whenever you set format PDF to true, you probably want to delay for a couple of seconds before you run print PDF, just because there needs to be a bit of delay for them to hide properly. Because that's how like print PDF works behind the scenes for that action that we have. It's not doing anything fancy. It's literally just printing whatever the user sees on the page. So you'll need to manually format the page when they press it for how you want the PDF to look. For the blur issue, that's a tough one. I don't really know why it's blurring. Because again, it's just printing whatever the user sees on the page. So for that one, I don't really know without seeing it. Because it would be related to something on the page. So I can't really guess for that one. But for the first issue, you'll need to manually have some kind of logic to hide them whenever print PDF gets pressed. And I've just seen your question, Sean, but you joined, so I shall bring you in. Hello, sir. How's it going?
Well, hey. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, I know. I might go live here. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I can't hear you. I think I got too many mics on. There we go.
Check, check, check. Testing, testing.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go.
Testing, testing.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
yeah. Sorry, is it too
There we
late
go.
here to get on?
No, no, it's all good. It's all good. What's up?
Okay. All right, I'm going to just show you really quick. It's just a... Hey, TQ, I got this. I'm going to have my the WeWeb guy help me. I'm going to share my screen. Staying late today. I appreciate it.
No worries. I saw you joined and there's no way I could leave you.
Yeah. So Flo decided he couldn't make it today. That's some other
No,
stuff.
he won't be back probably till the end of the month, just with all the back end stuff going on.
Okay. Okay. Share the screen. I'm having problems with showing. I've got a collapse menu and it's showing. I'm trying to show what's underneath. And okay. So it's kind of messy right now. But there's as I collapse it, we want to show the sub menu. This is the sub menu, and you can't. We just turned it into a mess. Sorry. But here's the. Can you see the sub menu here?
Yeah.
Under the shareholders.
Yeah.
We want this to show up as we roll over this blue button here, but it won't show even with like Z index.
So you want it to appear when this menu is collapsed?
Yeah, I want it to show to the right as a flyout.
This is a very tricky one just because if you click on the left menu element at the top of the layout tree.
Shareholder menu, yeah.
Sorry, the left menu, the one at the very top.
Oh, okay, left menu content, or all the way.
And I think you're right. I think it might be left menu content if you click back on that. And then on the right panel, if you scroll to the very bottom of the styling, if you open up, I think it's in effects. If you open up the effects part at the bottom.
Oh.
Okay, overflow is auto. Basically, maybe click on left menu. Maybe it is the left menu element. I'm looking for one where, okay, overflow is unset. Okay, basically the issue you're going to have is that I don't think it's a Z index issue. The reason why it's not showing, I think it's an overflow issue. So one of its parent containers isn't allowing for content to overflow it. And so because for this to show, it needs to overflow its very parent container. that's why it's been cut off by that overflow.
Oh, I see.
But this is a very tricky, and that like you need the overflow to be hidden so you can cater for an expanded and collapsed state for this side nav. This is honestly a very tricky one that can catch people up, because
Yeah, it is.
to cater for this, you might need some very complex stuff where you have like a fixed menu on the page and you dynamically change its X and Y position based on whatever element has been hovered. Because then that fixed position element, it doesn't care about all the other elements because it's its own individual element on the page. And so it's not going to be constrained by overflow and all that kind of stuff. So just something to consider, because like if you really want to add this functionality, it's not going to be a walk in the park, unfortunately, at least with not like expanded and collapsed menus. If it was expanded, it's pretty easy because you don't care about the overflow. But because you've got the collapsed state, it adds a bunch of additional stuff you have to consider.
If I get lucky, it'll just be overflow equals unset, or
maybe. But then the issue you'll have, I don't know how you've set up the collapse state for the side panel, but the issue you might have if you remove the overflow that's causing the issue is that you then won't have a collapse state, because all the stuff that is how do I explain it? Like for instance, right now in the expanded state for this menu item, you have the shareholders text, and then you have like the two people icon beside it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you collapse this, when you collapse the menu, the reason you don't see the shareholders text is because, yeah, if you close the menu, so if you press like the chevron at the top, the reason you don't see the shareholders text is because the parent container that holds all this has its overflow set to not allow it to show, basically.
Right.
So if you set the overflow to allow that menu to show, then that means all this stuff right now that's hidden, that is only shown in the expanded state for the menu, will then also show.
Got
so
it.
It's, yeah.
So what is that value? It's unset or hidden? Or
I
unset,
think
it can go outside the container?
Unset would mean that it's hidden. So it's I think it might have been the left menu that had its overflow to the one above this, I think, the left menu. So this is unset. If you put this to visible, maybe, let's see, to test it. No, okay, that's not the culprit.
Oh, no, I just turned this one to visible. Visible means it can go outside the container?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, okay. We keep working our way down. This one's auto.
It's shareholder menu is the one. Visible means, yeah, good. And shareholder sub menu is the one. This is the one. You see how it looks like it's there, and we'd have the Z index as high as possible, Z axis.
If you click on static menu links, that element in the left, just above this one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you put this overflow to visible, there you go.
There we go.
Okay, actually, maybe that works then, because like I was expecting to see like the shareholders text and stuff beside the menu items, but you can't see it, so maybe it's not too bad.
Yeah. So should I like go back and reset these back to the way they were, or leave them as visible?
Maybe, but looking at it, I don't know if it makes a difference.
What would be the next best one to pick? Auto?
Probably unset for your use case. Okay. Auto means if it overflows, then it will make the stuff scrollable pretty much instead of showing it, which was the issue you had for this one, where it was scrolling instead of showing it.
Well, that did it. I mean,
do you want to put, if you put it into preview and then expand and collapse the side nav just to make sure it still looks okay? Yeah, okay. I think it's still the same.
Yeah, it is. Oh, cool. Okay. Wow. All right. That's why you're the genius.
It's, every week.
Who needs Flo?
You can say that to him.
Okay. All right.
I can't.
All right. All right. Thank you.
No worries. Cheers, Sean.
Oh, wait. One last question. When dates show up, it's always European. You know, without going into a formula of date, formatting, is there a way to make it always US without?
I don't think so, unfortunately. I didn't even realize we did that, to be honest with you.
killing me.
The bloody
I
French.
mean,
Huh?
half your clients are US, right?
Close to it. Yeah,
I mean,
okay. I didn't.
You know,
Yes,
we are the center
unfortunately.
of the world, right?
So I think, yeah, unfortunately, there isn't a way out without formulas, I think.
Okay. All right.
Apologies.
All right, thank you. No problem. See ya. Bye-bye.
Cool. Right. That is us for the week. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We do these every Tuesday, 6 to 7 p.m. Central European time. Hopefully Flo can be with me again next week, but he's super busy with the back end stuff. So he may not be able to return until the end of the month, unfortunately, just because we're trying to get everything out the door ASAP before the end of the month. But hopefully he can be with me next week. Right. Cheers, everyone.